on the chair.
Yeah. Go back and eat. They always do it.
Are you retired now then, or?
I'll retire.
Yeah.
Retired over 10 years.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. So are you doing? Have you got a finger in? Yeah. Where was that?
Killingham.
Oh yes, yeah.
HSD.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was at the academy with this chap who was going to give a speech.
Oh, then, right, all right. Yeah. That to me as well. Yeah, I put him on the navigation.
We got out in a pilot launch because that was his wishes. He did die before, about 15 years ago.
Hey mate, thanks for everything. Yeah, so they do it in Dong Dong, it's like Dong
They've got extensions in the back, they've done other motors, so they've done all the structural stuff, and I'm now doing
Oh, sorry.
No, okay.
You all right?
Right, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. As Secretary of the Whole Trinity House Old Boys Association, it gives me great pleasure to welcome the Master Warden, Captain Phil Watts, and his fellow brethren of the Hull Trinity House Corporation. Also the Principal of the Trinity House Academy, who I believe is somewhere there in the crowd, Mr. Dan Flack. Also our Chaplain, the Reverend Tony Cotson, who will perform the blessing. And then our distinguished guest, Colonel Bob Seddon. And to you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us on this historic occasion. It now gives me great pleasure to hand over to our Chairman, Geoffrey Johnson, who will say a few words about this historic moment.
Among members of our All Boys Association, we have policemen, lawyers, medics, military, authors, accountants, teachers, musicians, entrepreneurs. So the placing of the figurine is to honour all young men and women who have passed through the school into the world. As the plaque on the chapel wall says, to practice the values and knowledge gained here. So to unveil this figurine here today, there could be no finer choice than to have this duty performed by one of the young men who attended the school and went on to follow a very distinguished career in the British Army. Before I introduce Colonel Seddon, I now will hand over to Reverend Tony Cotson, who will give the blessing.
We give thanks for all those who have contributed to the planning and creating of this figurine. With your blessing, may it be a constant reminder of the important contribution the Trinity House School has played in the development of Hull and across the world over the years. Amen.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you to the Master Warden and the Brethren of the Trinity House, the old boys of the school, the Principal and the current Headmaster, and the staff of the Trinity House Academy. It's a great honour for me to be here today. I left the school back in 1983 and I feel deeply proud and privileged to be invited here today. As Jeff has mentioned, the school has a long history, over 200 years, in a city with a proud maritime tradition. Many of those that served at this school and were educated in this place served on the Atlantic convoys during World War II, and they kept our nation fed and alive and in the war. More latterly, we've seen old boys at the school, and Jeff has mentioned Captain Ian North, Master of the Atlantic Convoy, who was killed in action on the 25th of May 1982 while serving in the Falklands War. And for his gallant service, he was posthumously awarded the Distinguished Service Cross. I remember this very well, as I was in my final year of school at that time. As I stand here today, though, I think about the former pupils of this school who gave their lives in the service of our country. And I also think about the men of this city who gave their lives. And I think about my grandfather, a fisherman who was lost at sea in the 1950s in a tragedy, a double tragedy that befell this city. I have very fond memories of my time at school. I did not realise it then, but we were lucky to have such fine teachers, most of whom had served either in the Merchant Navy or in the Armed Forces during the war. The headmaster at that time, Captain Thompson, was a superb man. He set the finest of examples to the pupils. But I also think of some of the fine teachers we had. Mr. Bomber Lancaster, who taught navigation and astronomy. Mr. Flood, a former Coastal Command aircrew, who taught mathematics. Mr. Nobby Clark, who taught signals. Who could ever forget Nobby Clark? And of course, Mr. Aylett, who taught me seamanship and everything that I know about knots today, who had a career that spanned from the lowest ranks in the Royal Navy through to being a master mariner. A superb example to the pupils at the time. It is interesting though, I mentioned navigation and astronomy. I didn't go to sea, I joined the Armed Forces. But what I learned from Mr. Lancaster about navigation and astronomy stood me in great stead in the Army. As many of you will realise, an Army officer with a map is a very, very dangerous thing. And I credit the fact that I did get my men lost very frequently due to the care and attention that was given to me by Mr. Lancaster. But it's not just about the hard skills and the knowledge that the school imparted. It was only much later that I realised that the whole Trinity House School gave me much more than just an education. It encouraged and developed those key qualities that we look for in every leader and every person. And by that I'm talking about things like selfless commitment, respect for others, integrity, courage, particularly moral courage, loyalty and discipline, especially self-discipline. We live now in an era of rapid technological change, but our economy as a nation is still as much dependent on international trade, probably more so than many other countries. We still very much rely on the men and women who enable this seagoing trade. I also feel that the school motto, Spe Super Sidera, Hope Beyond the Stars, is as fitting today as when the school was first established in 1787. In closing, I would like to say once again, as an old boy of the Hull Trinity House School, I am humbled and honoured to be here today. Thank you.
Yeah. Make sure that
Well, Jim Rowley, famous Captain Rowley.
That is brilliant. Yeah, that's brilliant, the angle. All the buttons, everything's lit up. Sections lit up.